Conceive of this video series as a way of telling our own story. If you look at the reaction to movies such as the Black Panther and more recently The Woman King, it reflects our community's interest in telling our own stories and giving out and shaping our own narratives. CABL over the last 26 years has played a pivotal role in shaping the careers of Black lawyers, and we want to take this opportunity to tell the stories of the giants on whose shoulders we stand. We're very excited to be able to do this project, and we thank all the sponsors who have made this possible, and all the individuals that volunteered their time to make it possible. Thank you so much.
Well, my mother always says that. It started in our living room. But the reality is that we had numerous meetings in different people's houses. There were a number of meetings at my place, for sure. A group of us were inspired by two things to start CABL. We were inspired by the fact that the Dallas Davis Law Guild, which was a provincial organization of Black lawyers, was pretty much dormant at the time. And I can speak for myself, and I know that I speak for a few others when I say that we were also inspired by the existence of the National Bar Association. I attended a conference, national conference of the National Bar Association in 1994, which took place in Seattle. And this followed the attendance of Paulette Brown, the former president of the National Bar Association, and some other folks from the NBA who came up and visited Toronto as part of their international meeting that year. Our interaction with those members of the NBA, my attendance in 1994 in Seattle for the annual conference, and my subsequent attendance in Baltimore for another National Bar Association conference in 1995, I think gave us the impetus to do something on a national scale with respect to Black lawyers in Canada.
So what I'm showing you is a t-shirt that was prepared by the Black Law Students Association of Canada in 1996. And this was part of a conference that was held in Windsor. And the theme of the conference is reflected in the t-shirt was advocacy, community justice, answering the call. And it really spoke to the perspective of Black law students at the time, which is our community was calling upon us to use our positions to advocate for community justice. And the conference called upon us to answer that call. So it was a really nice graphic that showed the scales of justice with a book behind it and the symbol image of Africa. And then on the front was the Black Law Students Association of Canada logo. So that very much inspired the continuation of that call through the formation of CABL as Black law students connected with Black lawyers in 95 and 96 and decided to form CABL.
There were a core group of people who I would say really worked towards founding the organization. And they are Chris Wilson, the late Winston Mattis, myself, Patricia DeGeer, Sonia Salmon, Roger Rowe. That group of us, or that group was the first board of CABL, or the founding board of the Canadian Association of Black Lawyers. There were other people, though, who also assisted a lot, especially when it came to organizing our first gala event. And those people that I can recall are David Mercury, Linda Searles, and Philip Pike. I know I'm forgetting some names, but it's been 26 years.
What galvanized people to come together was a real desire to establish an organization that could give voice to the Black community in the legal profession. We recognize that we're in comparatively privileged positions as lawyers, and we need to use that location to support and give voice to the issues that matter to our community. I also want to mention Michael Tulloch, who was also involved at the time, and I was very much inspired by his work on the Street Check report as an example of how law can be used to advocate on issues that are important to our community.
Made me want to get involved is because the core group of Black lawyers who I knew really well, there weren't, remember, I got called in 1991. There were not very many of us, and we often knew each other, but we didn't work together. And it was a nascent organization having been founded, and I came onto the board early and worked with, first of all, the people I love to be around, Sandy Thomas and Patricia DeGeer and Roger Rowe and Philip Sutherland and Sulin Noel, and there was quite a few of us who met every Sunday. And we knew we needed to do something to, first of all, bring Black lawyers together, because we didn't have a critical mass in the province, to be able to advocate as well for us in the profession. There were some definite barriers that we faced, like getting hired into firms. I worked in the government, Sandy worked in the government, Patricia worked in government, Roger had a sole practice, and Philip had I think he had a practice with partners back then. So there were all these systemic issues that were facing Black lawyers in getting into law firms. And then there was, just the idea of strengthening ourselves by sharing our common narratives. We were all having particular struggles, and we could lean on each other, and we understood the narratives of where, for me, where, my race and my womanhood intersect, and for others in the settings that we were working in. And it became a passion, but also a great pleasure every Sunday when we had these meetings and we got to see one another, because the other thing is we were pretty lonely at the places that we worked. We were often the only people there who were Black, unless it was also custodian staff. And so seeing them weekly was like a boost for me that helped me get through every week after we've had these board meetings. Advocacy, camaraderie, safety, and closeness, I would say, were the real reasons.
I got involved in CABL, and someone I knew introduced me to, I believe it was Sandy, and I got involved in CABL probably within its first year, probably 10, 11 months into it. I got involved because for a variety of reasons. For one, there weren't a lot of lawyers of color or Black lawyers at the time. We were very few. We would see each other passing in the hallways in the court every once in a while. And I think we all came to a realization that we needed something to be comfortable with, to take care of our concerns. And in effect, I think it started off just a way for lawyers, Black lawyers, to have a meeting place where they could discuss their issues, seek advice on how to resolve issues, and then at that point help each other in their respective legal careers. Unfortunately, CABL's 25, 26, 27 years old, but even in that span of time, the issues really haven't changed that dramatically. The issues of fairness, equality within society begin, like I said, in the legal system, the educational system, the health system, whichever, it's still a problem. And groups like CABL are a way to advance the issue and positions of Black people, people of color, and try to make positive progressive change. So CABL is as important today as it was 25 years ago, as it was 15 years ago. And it'll probably still be as relevant, unfortunately, 20 years from now, because those issues are still there and they have not been resolved to me effectively. Well, I always have a tux. It's always there. My favorite part of the gala is always the beginning is meeting people I haven't seen in a number of years. Seeing people that nice to see that we're getting old gracefully together, and also to meet new and younger lawyers and speaking to them on how they're doing in the legal profession and where they're going and their hopes and dreams for success in this profession. That I find always the most interesting and exciting part of the gala. And for everyone who was there in Ottawa, hopefully it doesn't snow in November in Ottawa for the gala, but I hope everybody have a wonderful time and continue to take this organization into higher and higher heights for the purpose to advance issues for our community.